Sorry for the delay. Shame. Is the PowerPoint visible?
Yes, ma'am.
And the the slideshow is also visible, no?
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
So good afternoon, everyone. And I am thankful for the Botanical Society of Hansraj College, Dr. Monica, the principal and the patrons for organizing this seminar on the Science Day. And today I'm going to close all of your eyes and open your mind, as my talk title suggests. So I'm not going to make you meditate, or it seems like to be a very philosophical talk, but slowly and steadily, I'm going to take you where you can try to realize your ideas, whatever is going out in your mind. So, science is a way of thinking. And today on National Science Day, we are prompted to think more scientifically. So it's not that people who are not from science background cannot do science. Science is the way we think, logical way of thinking, rational way of thinking. And that's how our curiosity helps us to get knowledge from everywhere. So being thankful to Dr. C.V. Raman, who discovered the Raman effect. And today here we are celebrating his discovery. And it's an honor to do that. And in the 75th year of independence, we are celebrating it all over India. Now, when we talk about what is going around all the world, there is a word in Sanskrit which means drishyam. Drishyam means a visual, a scene, an image. And in English, we say seeing is believing. But many times, whatever we see, we don't know why it is happening, or what is the reason for it to happen. So, and if someone gives an explanation also, then also sometimes we don't agree or believe. For example, if you tell a small child that go in that dark room and get that ball, what that child will say? Will say that, oh, there is a ghost out there and he will take me, or he will kill me or something. So he has a fear, and the child will believe what he wants to believe, even if he is not able to see anything. So many times we see what we believe rather than what we see. So in our near world, there are so many things which are unknown, and we have to be curious to know what is actually happening. I hope my slides are changing. Are my
Yes,
slides
ma'am.
changing? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this very big world, we have lots of activities which are going on, which are very, very big, huge, and those which are at very low, small scale, and we are not able to observe it sometimes. However, those macro scale and micro scale things are interacting with each other quite a lot. And we know that there are microorganisms in this environment, and those big changes which are occurring, like global warming and climate change, which we said that they are not happening earlier, we are able to see them today in larger and bigger effect. We couldn't see the virus, but you could see the big change it has caused in 2 years. And all these images, sometimes instill a bit of fear in people also. But we all know that our terminologies of social distancing, masking, online activities, everything, our terminologies have changed in the past 2 years. So what this explains that despite having problems, we look for solutions. So unless and until we do not highlight or we do not focus on problems, solutions cannot. the work I do and how I have tried to realize the ideas which I got, how I dissipated those ideas around me, and how it was possible to find solutions when the problem was identified. So I'm a student of science, and I'm a student of life, you can say. I was in Delhi University, just like you all guys are there. And it's the curiosity which drives us every day. You want to know what is happening, why it is happening. Like there is a war going on in Russia and Ukraine, and you want to know why is it happening? Why want people want to kill? So there is a lot of things which is the part of story of every individual on this earth. And I'm telling my story, and I will tell how I have realized my dreams, which will help you probably somehow to understand how you can open up your mind so that you can realize your ideas. So basically, I'm doing my research. I'm in the eastern part of India, and there is a very beautiful environment called Chilika Lake. It's a brackish water lake, and it's a highly biodiverse environment. I will also work on freshwater ecosystems. So why am I looking at all these beautiful environments? Because I love nature. I want to go there. But as a scientist, why I want to go there? Because I'm looking for microorganisms. Why am I looking at microorganisms? So when I started my work to find out why am I actually doing science and what I want to do in this field of science is to find something which has not been found earlier. So I started looking for microorganisms in the environment, and I found several organisms with a lot of applications, etc. And then using those applications, I wanted to find out whether it can be of some use and to solve problems. So in that lake itself, we have lots of problems. Being in the eastern coast of India, it's prone to lots of cyclones, but they were not there always. Only in 1999, the occurrence of cyclones started growing. And I have been in the middle of, although I am from Delhi and stayed most of my educative life in Delhi. So I have never had an experience of cyclones. But after I have shifted in the eastern coast, I have been in the middle of cyclones. You know how everything around you gets destroyed. And one of these cyclones, which was very recent in 2019, was a very destructive cyclone where we had to live for almost 12 days without light, without gas, without water, without internet, nothing around you. 12 days in today's world, you can imagine how it feels like. And then, even then, we were able to survive within it. So
Ma'am, you're on mute.
is the video, is the presentation open?
No, ma'am, the presentation is not open. Like, we can see your video.
Okay. That's okay. So this invasive plant, it grows extensively in this lake. So it's a problem. So how do we find a solution? So there is a government organization which handles the Chilika Lake called Chilika Development Authority. And they said, we'll burn this plant. someone said we'll pour acid into the lake and we'll kill all these plants. But you know that these are very harsh measures and harsh solutions. So we have to keep an open mind to whatever solution can be obtained. And an open mind is always a valuable resource. And you can think of new possibilities and creatively think how you will solve. So I discussed this problem with some of my students. And my students said, ma'am, ho jayega. Koi problem nahi hai. We can try out some ways to use it for developing something. I said, what you are saying, it's a big problem. Government is spending so much of money. And you know where the idea came from? It came from my students who are not PhD, who do not have research experience. And they said, okay, give us 2 days time, we'll bring out a solution. And believe me, this work, I did not give a solution. It was the students who gave me a solution. So I told them that it's very easy to talk big things. It's very difficult to do. They said that, ma'am, give us an opportunity to prove that it can be done. So they bought wheat from the lake, the biomass of that plant, and they made handmade paper out of it. And later on, they were able to use enzymes also to make engineered paper, good quality paper. They even got a grant from Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise and Innovation Grant and DST Lockheed Martin Award. So these are some of the samples to convert biomass of Phragmites carca to paper, and these are the prototypes. So you could do printing over it, you could write over it and make products from it. So what is the use of this? That you can create alternative source of livelihood for local tribal community living around that particular lake. And in another opportunity, when I discussed this problem with some school students who wanted to do a project, again, the solution was not given by me. It was the school students who told me that, ma'am, someone has already made paper. Let's make something else out of it. I said, what you will make? They said, okay, give us some time. We will come out with a solution. And believe me, those students, they came out with a very interesting idea to convert the biomass of Phragmites carca into particle board. Particle board is used for making furniture, low-cost furniture, for partitioning in offices, etc. These are some of the pictures where they did that work, and they were able to make prototypes of particle boards, and they also did testing on the prototypes to enhance their strength. It can be used for making disposable paper plates or for spoons, cups, etc. And there are many other uses for it which it can be made. Even fireproof, soundproof material which can be used for making insulated packaging material also. So this is the first story. Next, I move on to the second story. So we all know that we are extensively dependent on energy. You cannot live without electricity or your cooking gas or petrol or diesel in today's world. Otherwise, you sit at home and do nothing. So as the population of this world is growing, we are in high demand of energy. And the consumption of liquid fuels is increasing drastically, and 48% consumption will increase by the time we reach 2040. So there are other concerns also like pollution, climatic change, and other resources are also getting depleted. So we are now, every country is trying to focus on alternative fuels. We say biofuels. And there are many sources of biofuels like first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. And as you go from one generation to the next generation, the advantages, the disadvantages of every generation is overcome by the next generation of biofuels. So first generation focuses on edible food or plant products which are edible. Second generation focuses on non-edible. Third generation focuses on algae. And fourth generation focuses on synthetic microorganisms or recombinant organisms which are artificially created using biotechnology and then using it for generation of different types of fuels. So we know that diesel is a very important biofuel, and it is used in big machines, in tractors, pumps, generators, etc. And this guy, Rudolf Diesel, who was the first one to discover that fractionation of petrol, fractionation of crude oil will generate one of the fractions which I will be able to use in my machine, and then he named it as a diesel engine. But before he invented that, he checked that groundnut oil and castor oil can also be oils which can run vehicles. So taking cue from that, in today's world, we are trying to find alternative fuels which can replace diesel. Why do we want to replace diesel? Because diesel, when it burns, it generates carbon emission. And in today's world, because of global warming, we don't want that. So we need some properties of a fuel which can replace all of this. So I'm sure you have all heard about biodiesel, and it's produced from any kind of triglyceride or vegetable oil, which we consume at home also. Any vegetable oil like sunflower oil, soybean oil, palm oil, or any animal fat can be converted using a chemical process and converted into a biodiesel. So this biodiesel has an advantage over diesel. Diesel is a hydrocarbon, and biodiesel contains an oxygen group here. And this advantage makes biodiesel undergo complete combustion without any carbon emission. So the properties of biodiesel have to be more suitable as comparable to diesel so that it can be utilized. So it is this chemical reaction. Yes. Am I mute again?
No, ma'am, you're audible.
No, it is this chemical reaction. It is this chemical reaction which is called as transesterification reaction, where any vegetable oil or a triglyceride can be converted into fatty acid methyl ester, which we call it as a biodiesel. So it is a chemical reaction. There is nothing biological. Only the source which is being used, that is the triglyceride, is coming from a plant source. Most of the time it is a plant source, but it can come from an animal fat also. So there are various sources from where biodiesel can be made. For example, edible oil is there, or non-edible oil is there, and even oil from algal sources can also be used. But all of these require a lot of effort to grow. You need to grow the plant, extract the oil. Edible oil also needs to be extracted. Algae, you need to grow the algae, extract it, and all of these cost a lot of economic expenses. But there is one source which is called as waste cooking oil or used cooking oil, which we throw after we have fried our pakoras and samosas. We want to throw it because it is burnt and all the fatty acids have been broken down. So this used cooking oil or waste cooking oil is always available. It does not need any land to grow, and there is no growing process required. So food versus fuel debate, that whether we should focus on food or fuel, or whether we should focus on land or fuel, both of them are not compromised. So in our second story, we wanted to make a biodiesel which is effective and can be made from waste cooking oil, so that waste is also managed and you are also able to generate energy. So we created a technology, and although this technology is already known, but doing it in a setting, in a different setting, it requires effort, and it requires an open mind, and it requires the will to do it. So you can have an idea, but it's not necessary that everyone will be very happy with your idea. People will thrash your idea. People will say, oh, it will not work. Why are you putting in too much effort? You should not do this. So you need to talk to several people. You need to jot down points. Okay, this person said this person said this. Okay, I want to do this, strategize, find out where I can get raw material from, where I can do testing from. So I need to experiment. So even if people tell you that your idea is not worth doing it, don't believe anyone, because whatever you have thought, it definitely has weight, and you have to only find out. Without experimentation, you cannot find out. So again, the solution for this came from my students itself, who are students just like you, not PhDs and undergrad and postgraduate students, who helped me develop a team where we started a bioenergy unit in our university, and we collected waste cooking oil from different restaurants, and they gave it us for free. And then we developed a strategy, and so in our university there are 35, and now 40 canteens are there, or messes are there, and they all throw their oil into the gutter. So we said, please give it to us because we will use it. And so we developed this strategy, and whatever is written in literature, we try to replicate it. But it's not that easy that whatever is written that you will be able to replicate it. So you have to do several rounds of experimentation and produce it at lab scale. And it's a long way to go from lab scale to pilot scale and then into field scale. So we were successful in developing a 100-liter plant where different parts of this particular transesterification reaction could be done. And we did this on a larger scale. So used cooking oil was bought from restaurants and hotels and eateries, and this 100-liter facility was developed in the university, and a clean fuel was developed. So I can tell anyone, this liquid, which is yellow colored, is biodiesel, but I have to prove it. I have to do tests. I have to do standard quality tests to prove whether it works or not. So we tested it using government standards, and the quality was such that you can sell it to government also, so that they can blend diesel with biodiesel. So currently, when you go to a petrol pump station, you will get that kind of diesel which is already blended at 5% with the diesel fuel. So even 5% blending of biodiesel with diesel reduces carbon emission by 80%. So that's the reason why Indian government also is blending biodiesel with the diesel which is currently being used to reduce carbon emission. So we did all types of tests. So why do we take such kind of initiative? And you've all noticed the increasing prices in petrol and diesel over the past 2 years, or even if you see a 5-year trend, you see the trend is always going upwards rather than downwards. And there is an interesting trivia fact here. In all countries all over the world, petrol is always cheaper than diesel. But it's only in India that diesel is cheaper than petrol. That is because diesel is an industrial fuel, and Indian government gives subsidy to use diesel, so that truck associations will use diesel and take different types of stuff like vegetables, cloth, and different things in trucks across the country of India. And therefore, there is a subsidization on diesel. But why is diesel more expensive than petrol? Because when you do fractional distillation of crude oil, it is petrol which comes out first, and you have to burn the crude oil more and more so that you get the diesel fraction. So it is more energy intensive, so it is more expensive. So only in India you will find the price is cheaper than petrol. And you can see the price is almost touching 100 rupees, and it did touch 100 rupees some time back. So university also uses several components where diesel is used, like in generators and boilers, etc. So at current applications at pilot scale are that there are many hostels and restaurants which use diesel as a fuel, because LPG cylinders are not easily available and they are very expensive, and they can be used in diesel stoves or in boiler components. There are in the university there are different big boilers for intravehicular transportation, and also in university generators. So at the university where I am, there is a university which is called the India's first tribal university, where almost 30,000 tribal children are living there. So during COVID, they have gone, obviously, but they are soon going to be back. And there every day, 30,000 children in a very big dining hall, they have their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can imagine how much amount of food is made. And it was featured on India's mega kitchens also on National Geographic. So that kitchen, it uses diesel. It used to use diesel, but now it uses biodiesel, which is generated from waste cooking oil taken from restaurants. So the outcome of this project, which we did, and it couldn't be done without the vision of the students present in the team, is that the biodiesel which is generated is about 35 to 40 rupees per liter. So it is cost effective. And of course, we had a lot of networking by different schools of engineering, like mechanical engineering school. They helped us to test it in their engines, in their generators. And of course, all these experiments we are not able to do. I'm a biologist, I can't do engineering testing. So I need to network with people who are capable of doing what I'm not capable of doing. So you have to have friends, you have to have acquaintances, and you have to network with them. You have to collaborate with them so that you are able to get that knowledge which you are not individually having that. So don't waste oil, and soon your food will become your fuel. The last story is based on food again. So I love food a lot. And always we have been told that if you use your food as your medicine, then medicine is your food. So this was a famous quote by Hippocrates, and he said that there are so many different types of food, and they contain all natural ingredients. So they are like food for like medicine. But where is the problem? That's very good, If food is your medicine, you don't have to eat medicine. But the problem is that in today's world, we have so much of processed food out in the market. So you eat chips, you eat bread, you eat so many types of beverages, KFC chicken, Pizza Hut, and so on and so forth. The list is very big. And you have heard of the famous case of Maggie, where it was banned from the market. I know it was very sad. But the consumer who buys the food, they have the right to know what is there in the food. And it is the responsibility of food manufacturing companies to tell what is exactly put in the food, and they should not be putting any toxic component inside the food. But in today's world, there are so many additives and coloring agents, preservatives, which are added into the food processing process, that they become really toxic and harmful. And the normal people, we don't even come to know. For instance, when we heat food at a very high temperature, it gives rise to several cancerous compounds, volatile and non-volatile compound, which are in turn responsible for damaging our system. And it's shown that it causes cancer. So we know that junk food causes cancer, but still we love it. So Government of India also, and the Food Association of India also has given guidelines on avoidance of reusing cooked oil. So we should not use cooked oil again and again because of total polar compounds which are formed on repeated frying. So we don't know how safe is our food. Many times we don't know because of excessive food processing, and it causes several problems. So what is the solution? What can we do about it? So I also thought about it. And besides my research, it is something which draws your attention. And we use a lot of microbial enzymes in industry. So industry is replete with different types of microbial enzymes which are used. And the food and beverage industry also uses several microbial enzymes. So I had particular interest in the baking industry, and I always was fascinated by it. So you see, in your personal life, you could be fascinated by many things. You may be in a different profession, but you may be fascinated with painting, you may be fascinated with photography, or something else, or gaming, or you like coding, or anything. So whatever you are fascinated with, don't leave that passion despite you being a lawyer, or despite you being a financial analyst, or you have done MBA and you have a, uh, managing job, etc. So whatever is your passion, always look answers towards that passion, because it will be interesting for you to do something what you love and you are passionate about, and then make it as your career. So I had special interest in the baking industry, and so I started doing a lot of search. And believe me, I had no knowledge about how to do business, or I didn't know how to start a company. And one of my master's student, and he was always coming and discussing how do we do this, or just coming and chatting and all. And one day we discussed that, shall we open a company? Can you imagine one student coming and telling me, shall we open a company? In our times, we could never freely talk with our teachers like that. But in today's mind, definitely you can say that students are having open minds, and they do have the privilege to come openly talk with their teachers and talk what they have in their mind. So he came one day and he said, okay, let's open a company. I said, wow, that will be interesting. So let's open one. And I opened a company. So it was my first startup, Kriya Food and Beverages. And what was our mission and vision? Why I wanted to do it? I'm doing research in a university. And how do I fit into a business or a startup culture? Can I do it? Am I capable of doing it? So there are a lot of questions. You are always fearing failure. because when you don't know anything, you always think that I won't be able to do it. But it's the first step which seems difficult. Subsequent steps, they become easier and easier as you have the courage to take those steps. So we formulated this company, and we wanted to make foodstuffs which are safe and which are healthy. So this is the timeline, and we started in 2015, and I opened a small bakery. And people told us and pulled us down, that why do you want to open a bakery? You're doing research. Why do you want to do this? You're a professor, you are good or well off. Why do you want to go out of the laboratory where you are happy doing experiments? So we said that we are going to do experiments in the company also. That is also a type of science. And I don't want to restrict myself inside a cabin or inside a laboratory where I'm restricted. So I want to go out, I want to be open, and I want to find out where my ideas can interlink or crossroads with other ideas or not. So we formulated this company with this mission and vision. And I had again a team of students, and this guy, Rahul Chatterjee, is doing PhD now. And I had another faculty, I had another students, and there were 5, 6 more students. And now we have 30 employees. And it's a 10,000 square feet plant size, machinery, all of these, they are there. But where's the science? Everyone would say, oh, there are so many bread companies all over. You can get cake anywhere. What is unique about you? What is your USP? So we started looking inwards. You close your eyes and you start looking inwards. That what is this? What I wanted to do? No, I want to do something which affects people. It just does not tingles my taste bud and says, the food is very tasty. I want to give it a meaning. And so we started working on an enzyme. So as I told you that when we heat food at a very high temperature, then you all know, you all had tandoori chicken. When you burn it, then it becomes black. That black thing is called as acrylamide. It's called dietary acrylamide. When you take a bread piece and you toast it and it becomes brown, there is a reaction which is called as Maillard reaction. So that's the science. And the high temperature heating, it causes change in flavors. It gives special flavors also. But when you do it too much in certain types of food, then it becomes harmful. So there are some enzymes like asparaginases. They can reduce the formation and sometimes totally cut down the formation of acrylamide. Why do you want to cut the acrylamide? Because acrylamide is a known carcinogenic agent. So there are a lot of literature on it, what acrylamide does. So baking is one such industry where acrylamide formation takes place in your food stuff. Your French fries, they contain very high content of acrylamide. Any fried stuff, samosa, pakoda, meatballs, which are fried, French fries, fish for fries, or KFC chicken, whichever is fried, it has very high content of acrylamide. And that is why excessive consumption leads to cancer also. So we wanted to solve that problem. So I want to show a video here. So please let me know how to share the sound.
साउंड बहुत अच्छा नहीं आएगा, आप अपने उस पर रिकॉर्ड करोगे ना?
इसमें साउंड कैसे शेयर करेंगे? हेलो
हेलो मैम, आप जब शेयर स्क्रीन करेंगे ना, शेयर वीडियो करेंगे, आप शेयर कीजिए पहले ना।
ये वीडियो मैंने ऑन कर दिया।
वीडियो नहीं, आप शेयर वीडियो करेंगे ना, वहीं पर ही ना एक ऑप्शन है, इंक्लूड कंप्यूटर सिस्टम ऑडियो।
ओके, आई जस्ट
आएगा अदरवाइज।
Did you know that presence of a food toxin? Did you know?
साउंड आ रहा है मैम, आ रहा।
साउंड आ रहा है? ओके, तो मैं शेयर करती हूँ। Can you see this video?
Anita?
Are you able to see this video?
No sound.
No sound. Okay. Is the
Did you
sound
know
visible?
that presence
Audible?
of a food toxin?
Yeah. It is now. Now it is coming. Yes.
Did you know
Yes.
that presence of a food toxin, acrylamide, in our daily diet is a growing health concern globally? Strict norms have been laid down by the food regulatory bodies like FDA and EFSA.
लगता है कि वीडियो प्ले नहीं हो रहा.
I think there's a network connection.
We at Kriya make food safer and help you choose the right bite.
Yeah, we can see the video now. Yeah.
The video was visible and audible?
Shaka, the sound of the video was not audible, but video was visible. Can you replay the video once more?
Okay, the sound was not audible. Sound was not audible.
Video was visible earlier as well, but आवाज नहीं आ रही थी. But it's okay. I mean, one can make out from the
Yeah,
video.
but there is some setting for sound that I know.
No,
So I don't
no,
know.
ma'am. The sound was also audible, but due to some network connection, I guess the sound was cracking or it got lost in between. Okay. And the video was also not as fluid as it was. So
So you could make out what was shown.
Ma'am, please play it one more time.
Okay.
Did you know that presence of a food toxin, acrylamide, in our daily diet is a growing health concern globally? Strict norms have been laid down by the food regulatory bodies like FDA and EFSA
Can you hear the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
to reduce the acrylamide content in the product. What is acrylamide? Acrylamide is a WHO recognized class 2A carcinogenic compound which is synthesized during cooking at high temperatures while frying, grilling, baking, toasting, and roasting. The lack of awareness amongst consumers and their regular consumption of these hazardous processed products like biscuit, coffee, cereal, bread leads to these serious health diseases in all age groups, but significantly affecting infants. So, what is the solution? Acrylate is a one-stop, award-winning, cost-effective solution capable of reducing acrylamide formation in food by up to 95%. So how does this work? Adding acrylate to the food production process converts the amino acid asparagine even before the heating process takes place. So, no acrylamide can be formed in the final product. Acrylate can be used over a wide range of products. No significant changes need to be made to your recipe or production process. Taste, appearance, and texture of the final product stay unaffected, and acrylate does not require labeling. Pilot scale trials using acrylate and its variants are being conducted at Kriya Foods manufacturing facility. We at Kriya make food safer and help you choose the right bite.
Was it better this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Nice,
So
man.
as you saw in this video, that we have made a formulation of this enzyme by developing a strategy which where this microbial enzyme is converted into an industrial biocatalyst by doing some experiments and making a process to so that we can use it. So I'm not going to show too much of results, and these are all kinetic experiments which were done to reduce the formation of acrylamide during the baking process when we do it on an industrial scale. So we were able to show application feasibility, and we did this on potato, like French fries, baked foods, etc., and showed that acrylamide reduces in starchy foods, especially where the maximum production of acrylamide takes place. So in all the fried foods which are produced in the food processing industry, this is one of the addition which can be done during the entire process, and it will reduce the formation of acrylamide. So there is high demand of in the industry to make food safer, especially in the food processing industry. So it is a small idea, and using that idea, we were able to go up to a bigger level where we could show that we are doing quite a lot of changes to the products which we are making. So just saying that I am making a baked food product is not sufficient, or it does not tickle your mind, because you say that there are so many products available in the market. What is unique about it? So we try to innovate our products by using enzyme-based formulations so that our foods can be called as safe, and we do not use too much of chemical preservatives, coloring agents. The brown bread which you get in the market, most of the time it is not brown bread, because caramel color is added to make it look brown. So it's only the fooling of customer, because they fall into the trap. So why the industry would do like that? Because they have to make money, and quick money, you can easily fool the customers. So many times all these things are overlooked, and we do definitely fall into this trap because we are hungry and we immediately want to eat something. But now the consumer is much more aware, and therefore these processes are also gaining ground in research also. And although it's a small problem, but we were able to get funding also for this and make our foods more sustainable and also healthy. So I also feel happy to consume a product from my own startup because I know it is very safe. But from somewhere else, I would say that, oh, I know that there is something else present in it which I don't want to consume. So basically, that's the end of the story. Three stories which I showed you, where most of the problems which we saw, they were in our surroundings. And you need to be just curious. You need to be aware of the problems which are around you. You should have an observant attitude towards small problems. The problem need not be a very big problem. It can be very small also. So from the problems only you develop ideas, and you can have several ideas in your mind, but if it won't be a good idea to just keep it an idea without experimenting on it. So I would suggest that being students of science and having a very a perceptive and a good grasping power at this stage, where you are more observant, you should be able to ideate, brainstorm with your friends, and people who you think can give you ideas, and hypothesize on various solutions which you could be working on, and find out a way to test your idea. So there are so many protocols, so many methods available to test how to do this experiment, how to take it forward. And for this, you need to communicate. You can communicate with your teachers, you can communicate with your friends, make friendship with people across disciplines also. You can make friends across disciplines, like people from different backgrounds. They need not be people from science background. So when you communicate, you make networks. They give you ideas. They give you fresh perspective, and then experiment. And if one experiment fails, then do it again. Then you've all heard that Einstein did his bulb experiment around more than 400, 500 times. And every time he used to say that I have 500 ways of knowing that it doesn't work 500 times. But the 510th time it will work, and it did work. So frustrations are part of everything, and you need to experiment again and again. If you can build a team of people who share your idea and give you more input, then do it. And all these processes then only change world. And there are several success stories based on this. So whatever you think, it needs to sink into your mind. And this is a very popular process of learning by observing and hypothesizing. Then you do experimentation, find out how you can measure whatever idea you have thought about, and there must be some method, some protocol, some procedure to measure whether your idea works or whether it does not work. And it may be something which someone has already worked on also. You can build on it slowly and steadily, but you have to be patient. It won't be built in one day. So there is a lot of power in the ideas, and you need to adopt a creative approach. So I also always had this question: what do you mean by a creative approach? Do I have to paint? Do I have to draw? Then only I can be creative. But creative approach means that doing things in an unusual way. So there are three main approaches to generate new ideas. And but the most important thing is that you should find out which problem you want to focus on. So if you are focusing on several problems, then you please write it down in a diary. So keep a diary where you write your ideas, where you write your problems, that I have observed this problem, and these are the available solutions, and I want to work on them. So you don't need to work on them, all of them simultaneously, but you can work on them one by one. So in the pandemic itself, so many problems came in front of us, and many people bought out solutions also. So the general ways of working on your ideas is that when you're stuck on an idea, you're stuck in a certain track, then you break that thinking pattern. Sometimes group thinking gives you that stuck feeling. So you may be comfortable to discuss it with some other people, some new set of people, and you, whatever is the standard way of thinking, you break away from that and you start looking at different ways of the pattern. For example, everything is a triangle, then think of a square, think of a circle, think of a line, think of a double line, think of striking that line. So you may do different things. Don't go in the old fashioned way. You may think of new things also. And by doing that, you will be able to make new connections also. So by doing different types of activities, you will be able to put your mind into creative thought. So that creative thought always does not mean painting or drawing something. It can be, it will make you more creative. And you put yourself in different situations, which will help you to think like other people. So whenever you are stuck, if you ask someone who is not around you, and someone of a different background, how would you do it? And whatever that person tells you, it may give you a fresh perspective that, okay, I may do the thing by his thought process or her thought process. So you can role play, you can think of someone in someone else's shoes, and this will give your ideas a more fresher perspective. So there are ways to encourage creative thinking. So first of all, you should be believing in yourself that I can ideate, I can give out ideas, and it's not that I won't be able to do it. So you have to believe in yourself. You find time for working on your ideas. You need to find good time, good environment, and with minimum disruptions. So in today's world, it's very easy to get distracted by social media, by WhatsApp, by Instagram, by Facebook. So sometimes take your time off from that kind of environment, and it will give your mindfulness to your brain, and you will be able to think easily also. And sometimes change of environment also helps. So you all have felt in COVID times, you are all sitting inside your small room, inside in front of your laptop and looking at the black screen. So it stops your creativity. And now that you are in campus, you are out there in the classroom, you're seeing new environments, immediately your mind becomes recharged and you're high spirited, etc. So the moment your environment changes, your ideas also start to walk. So it's called an ideas walk. The moment you change your environment, sit in a restaurant or go to some other place rather than your office room or your study room, etc., and it will give a fresh ideation to your mind. And be playful, be humorous, be relaxed. You don't need to be tensed about everything. And as your age is, just like we were in your age, more playful and just have fun. So celebrate if you have any wins. So I also do celebrate. Uh, in supporting any ideas you have, if at this stage you have an idea, you cannot work without support. You need some kind of funding support. And in Government of India is providing a lot of support in the form of technology business incubators. So if you have an idea and you don't know whether that idea will work, you should be talking to a technology business incubator where they provide you advisory, they provide you funding also, and they give you all sorts of associations with networking agencies and funding agencies, and also provide you legal support. So Government of India provides many programs which at different stages give you funding at different stages. So in this, you can see the first stage is idea. Government of India has programs where they will give you money for only giving an idea, So they have themes of different projects, and these are always coming out on Department of Biotechnology, Department of Science and Technology, or technology business incubators connected all over India. If you go to DBT website, you will find the links. And all these at different stages give you funding for working on your idea, because you can't do working or you can't do prototyping unless and until you have money in your pocket. So at different stages, you can get innovation grants, prototype grants, seed grants, and you can go up to market level also. So we have also been lucky that in our university, we have a technology business incubator, which has helped us to go at idea and proof of concept, prototype stage, and even at pilot scale, although for all products, we have not been able to reach the market stage. So you can start with finding a problem, looking at problems from different perspectives, jot down what you have to, what you want to do, and slowly and steadily as you progress in your life, don't leave track of your diary where you have written all that points. And always talk to a lot of people, meet people, and motivate others. So in 2 years' time, we are all confined to closed spaces. But now then, when you have opportunity, try to find out ways and means of how to go out and uh, talk with people. So when you ideate, work on making a prototype. Make a prototype of whatever is your product. How is your product different from others? It need not be a product, it can be a service, it can be solution to a small problem. But if you can make a prototype, it's always better to show to others that this thing will look like that. So it is a type of visualization. And nowadays, there are many avenues for developing prototypes, like 3D printing is available, and you can show how your product can look like. Even if it is a small thing, very small thing, it would be worth doing it. So that's called design thinking. So a famous quote by Wolfgang Goethe, he was a famous poet, is that all truly wise thoughts have been thought already thousands of times. You may also think that what I'm thinking, someone else might have already thought about. But to make them truly ours, we must think them over and over again, honestly, until they take root in our personal experience. So for any solution to any problems or any ideas or thoughts which are coming into your mind, you can't say it was a passing thought and I just left it. If you really feel about it, then you have to keep on thinking about it over and over again, and then only you will be prompted to work on it, and then it becomes your own experience, and it becomes a part of you, and then you feel that it's mine, it's mine, and you generate a sense of pride for taking out the solution for it. So I hope I am able to enter into your minds and give some motivational insights about how you can open your mind to the world, beautiful world out there. Thank you so much, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very informative and thought-provoking talk. And the way through your stories you have explained that the basic concepts of science, or more correctly, of biotechnology, can be used for as a source of livelihood and for saving time and energy and solving various problems and changing people's life for better, that I'm sure most of us are inspired and motivated to think about some creative ideas and to take a step in the budding era of techno entrepreneurship. So thank you so much, ma'am. This
Thank
now,
you, Vishakha. It was really an inspiring talk. You also talked about your journey from zoology to how you decided your research problem, and then, a little bit about your own venture and how ideas are important. I guess there are many takeaway messages from your talk. You really shown them path, and the most important thing which I felt was encouraging was that every idea is important. We should not let go our ideas, because you never know when this idea can turn into a discovery and win you all the laurels which anybody would want to do, get in the field of science. I mean, students, you must see that, the trajectory of a person starts right from the graduation level. You see how a person negotiates various things and reaches to that area. If you look at me, for example, we have done PhD almost together, 2004. I also did my PhD in 2004. Sometimes we are too much into our comfort zones. I never thought that I would venture outside. I felt like getting a job in a college is my destiny. So sometimes you must try to get out of that comfort zone. So that time I used to get inspired by my teachers, because my teachers were like very inspiring. I thought this is the best job one can get. But when you meet people like Vishakha, who have ventured into other areas where they're teaching, they're doing high-end research, high throughput research, and they are also institution builders in the sense. I mean, you can go to their university and see how fascinating and how interesting the things are there. They have kind of turned their university into an incubation hub. I really admire you and your team, Vishakha. I was waiting for an opportunity to have you on our platform, and thanks for accepting my invitation at a very short notice. Really,
Thank you. It was a
it was
pleasure
a
to talk
wonderful.
to students.
We would disturb you again because I wanted this lecture to be a science day lecture. So, I insisted on today, but we are having many other events coming up, and I would like you to please associate with us and help us, guide us. And I want some students to go to your university, do some
Sure.
internships, projects. That is what I'm looking at from an undergrad college teacher perspective. So thank you so much. I'm sure many students have been inspired, and if there are any questions, you must ask. Students, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to ask a few questions.
Sure.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
open for questions. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Am I
Aditya.
audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Aditya,
Ma'am,
you
my
are.
question was, when we talk about any new technology and when we talk about its everyday adaptation into our lives, okay, it becomes a question that does it need to completely change the conventional methods of what we are using? Like for an example, the biodiesel that was created, will it need to be a completely shift from the conventional combustible engines that work on diesels, or will this biodiesel work on the same engines that we use today? Uh,
So, what's your name?
Aditya, ma'am.
Aditya. So, Aditya, thank you for your question. So, what you're thinking is correct. What you're thinking is correct. Whenever we think of our technology, in terminology used in business management, they say whether this technology is conservative or whether it is a disruptive technology. So when we say it is a disruptive technology, it really replaces what is there in the market. For example, a very famous example is Geo. Geo company, when they entered into the market, they bought out such plans that they disrupted Airtel, they disrupted Idea, Vodafone, everyone. So that type of technology is called disruptive technology. Or Apple computers, when they came into the market, they immediately, other conventional ones, they were kind of dislocated. Or mobile technology. So whenever we think of that, it need not disrupt. It depends on the nature of technology. In the same way, just like you go into a mall, uh, there is not a single brand of toothpaste on the shelf. There are so many brands. You can buy Colgate, you can buy Dabur, you can buy Pepsodent, and so on and so forth. So you don't say that Pepsodent has overtaken Colgate or Colgate has overtaken Himalaya. So whatever technology
बंद हो गया क्या सबका?
Ma'am, you're
Ma'am,
not audible.
Vishaka, I think you have internet issue. लगता है उनका इंटरनेट खत्म हो गया. वेट करते हैं 2 मिनट आदित्य.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
कैसा लगा टॉक आदित्य?
It was nice, ma'am. Very inspiring. And basically, it was something new, ma'am. We discussed about startups and all. Okay. And it's a budding thing in this generation.
Students to know that even with botany, you can do many things simultaneously. You should have the will. So, here you have a person who did PhD in zoology and then did so many other things. So, actually, that's what I was again and again emphasizing. Sometimes we want to be in the comfort zone, right? So, we have to come out of that comfort zone to reach there. ये इम्पोर्टेंट है कि हमें हमेशा जो और लोग करते हैं उसी को देख के हम खुश होते हैं और वही करने की कोशिश करते हैं. या बीच में विशाखा वी लॉस्ट यू इन बिटवीन.
फोन आ गया तो इसीलिए कट गया. So I was talking that when the technology, whatever you are developing, if it is so good, then slowly and steadily that technology will displace over time the existing technology. So the biodiesel thing which I'm saying, biodiesel is known since quite a long time. It's been many years. People knew about it, but now when the prices of diesel are increasing, now when climate change is taking place, everyone is saying carbon emission is taking place. Diesel, Rudolf Diesel gave the idea of biodiesel long back in 1901, but since then no one worked on biodiesel. But now in 2020s, why we are interested in biodiesel? Because now we are able to see the effects of climate change, and now we want alternative fuels, and now is the time we want to make a shift from existing technologies to sustainable technologies. And now what automobile companies are doing, they are making electric cars. They are changing automation engines so that ethanol can be a blended fuel, or hybrid engines can be now fitted into automobiles. So automobile industry never even thought that we have to change our technology for the fuel. तो पहले फ्यूल था और फिर ऑटोमेशन के लिए यूज होता था, लेकिन अभी ऑटोमेशन इंडस्ट्री को फ्यूल के अकॉर्डिंग चेंज करना पड़ता है. So that is how the change takes place, and it's just a matter of time. Slowly and steadily, the technologies keep getting replaced, but it won't happen in a day. It will take some time always. If your technology has the power to replace, in time it will replace. But if you lose heart and leave it in the middle, then someone else will replace it and use it and then say that I discovered it or I gave the idea. But if you want to do it, then you have to persevere and remain with it all the time.
Really?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay, so you should not leave in the middle. आपने कोई चीज डिस्कवर करी, उसमें बहुत मेहनत करी, and you worked very hard, and then you say, no, I don't want to do it. And then where you left it, someone else will take it and say, I did it. That's what happens many times. It happens because people lose heart, lose patience. That's the reason why those companies which have existed and stayed on and still are, they are reinventing themselves. in the middle, and therefore they are able to, Adani Wilmar Group, Adani Wilmar Group, they used to sell vegetable oil. तो तेल बेचने वाली कंपनी थी जो खाने का vegetable oil है. But what is Adani doing now? They are into IT, they are into every company, whatever sector. They are into textiles, they are into space research, they into everything. So they have reinvented themselves and they are still in the market. You don't forget them.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. Say, Reliance also started with polyester and they are driving.
They used to make textiles.
Yeah.
So, but Reliance nowadays is in everything. So you have to reinvent yourself.
So I guess you have other assignments as well. So I am thankful to you for sparing your valuable time on a National Science Day when you also have so many other events lined up.
Thank you, Monica. It was a pleasure.
Activity and thank you so much. Thanks, Vishakha. And on the behalf of the Botanical Society, Hansraj College, and on the behalf of my students, students are my strength and they are everything.
Sure,
I mean,
they are strength of every teacher.
Yeah. So I want them also to do great in life, and that's why I tend to bring in people from different disciplines and talk to them. Thank you so much, and I
I'm
thank all the
visiting
students
Delhi.
who
I
attended.
will definitely visit your department.
Yeah, thank you so much. I wanted to extend this invitation in the next sentence, but thank you so much for yourself being ready to attend. We'll have a full-time, large scale audience, and we'll have this interesting talk once more. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, students. Thanks, Prashansa, Tanisha, Aditya, and everyone. And thanks, dear colleagues, for joining. And thanks, everyone. Thank you.